Can you hear the dog barking?
Whose dog is that?
Don't know.
This is part of the show, mate. That's fine. Right. Okay. Welcome to the Business as Unusual show. We are here on Friday. It is technically a holiday, but we thought actually everything's crazy. That we're not really sure what day of the week it is generally, and so actually there's no point not having the show. So today was an opportunity to have a chat and have a catch up with my best friend and business partner, Anthony Klokkou of Sleeping Giant Media. And we're going to be asking Ant a few questions around the furlough scheme, what we've been doing as a business, and generally having a chit chat about the current situation, how it is. The purpose of the show today is to really share any insights, any ideas that we have or anybody has on the show to ultimately help other people, to make sure that any ideas, any tips are shared across the community so that we can all come out of this a little stronger. And at the same time, making sure that we don't feel so isolated when we are all stuck in our homes. Fortunately today, lovely day, a bit more casual. Thought we'd do this one from outside. So I'm sitting in the garden with a beer, which is very nice. And Ant is also sitting in a beer. We were going to try to do the whole kind of like handing it over to him, but yeah, we didn't want to confuse people or fail at it massively. Plus, I got the wrong beer, so that doesn't help. Anyway, Ant, how you doing, mate? How is life in the Klokkou household?
It is good. It's good, thanks, mate. Yeah, settling into the new routine, enjoying time outside. I spent more time outside, I think, in this last kind of week or two than I have like almost my entire life, I think. So I've kind of used the garden.
Have you been out? Have you been out much? Have you done any running or kind of getting out and about?
I've done a little bit of running, not a huge amount, to be honest. I do a bit of exercise here at home. I've done the shops, so I'm a nominated shopper at the moment.
Yeah.
So I've done a few Tesco food shops. They were weird kind of experiences. People are very friendly, but also very distant. Like, kind of respecting the 2 meter rule, but lots of smiles, which is quite nice, I think.
I've got a theory. I think so. It's like when you tell a child that they're not allowed to do something, they instantly want to do exactly what you just told them not to do. And I think when I've been out for runs, I've seen more people out than I normally see out. Like, so before this all kicked off, and I think that as soon as the government say you're not allowed out, you're only allowed one bit of exercise, suddenly everyone's become an athlete. Everyone's like, you can't stop me training. You can't stop me training. I've got to be out. I've got to be out training, because I've seen so many people out running that I'm confident have never run. And if you hadn't had this situation kicking off, I'm pretty confident they would have spent the last 4 or 5 weekends sitting on the sofa. So I think people are going to be fitter at the end of this.
Those 12-hour exercise sessions are a bit questionable. What running? How far have you got? 24 miles.
Everyone's an athlete now. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I know there's a theory that everyone's going to be a little bit putting on a bit of weight, and the corona pounds at the end of this. I think it's going to go the other way. I think there's going to be, generally, most people are going to be healthier than they've ever been, because we've told them essentially not to go out or to limit their exercise, and therefore it's like that forbidden fruit. You have to go and do it.
I feel like I've been eating healthier. I've been eating better. I've been taking lunch breaks. Sounds crazy. Haven't done that before. Finishing kind of relatively on time. Eating with a family. Just everything kind of is working better at home.
What I was thinking the other day about how, like, obviously as we come out the other side of this, and I will get to some business questions in a bit, but what are the things that you've enjoyed, trying to take the positives from this current situation of kind of working at home and not being able to go to the office? What are the things that you want to try to carry on doing post this? So when we all go back to normal, what sort of things do you actually think, I want to keep on doing that?
That's a good question. I think a better routine, like the routine we have. I make a joke about taking lunch breaks, but actually, like, that stopping. The first week that things kind of started to kick off, it was for most people around the country, around the world, were just kind of working all hours to kind of work out, what do we do next? But we as a business quickly got past that, and actually my routine's better than ever before. At lunch, I make the effort to kind of go out into the garden and do a bit of gardening, which I'm really enjoying with Lincoln, my 3-year-old. He's loving it for about 10 minutes, and he gets bored. Yeah, I think keeping up the routine is definitely one thing. We started, as you know, Luke, one of the things we do at the office is the daily 3, where we are um, effectively calling one person a day, asking questions, and it's just to try and promote that kind of social interaction that you tend to happen in an office environment because you bump into people, so the list changes and you have to pick someone different from the list each day, someone you wouldn't normally talk to on a regular basis, and that level of interaction as well has been great. Like just conversation, how are you feeling, what's in your mind, what's been the win. I think we've worked really hard to try and keep culture and feeling like we have a community front of mind.
Do you think that's the sort of thing that we'll carry on doing post this? Because it's an interesting one. Because again, it's like we almost, when you had the opportunity, and there's like the psychology of an open plan office is, if it's too open plan, you don't say hi to anybody, because the danger is that you say hi to one person and you have to say hi to 50 people or whatever it might be. So open plan office spaces have actually, they kind of become less social, like the irony of it being more social, but then because it's open plan, you don't say it. So, is there kind of, that sort of thing that the daily 3, is that something that we're going to potentially carry on, do you think?
Yeah, totally. We talk for a long time in the office about the talk, don't type mentality. And you see it all the time, and I've been guilty of it. You're sat next to somebody or opposite somebody, and you message them on instant messenger, or you send them an email. And sometimes that form of communication is required, but a lot of the time, you could be talking face to face. So I think opportunities to facilitate kind of conversation about well-being, to get you away from the computer, get you day to day, is something that we should be championing for sure. Yeah, and I totally get that vibe in the open plan office. People are plugged in, headphones on, cracking on, and so it's much easier to quickly fire a chat to somebody than it is to talk something over. So I think we should, and so I think we will. It may not be in the same format, but I think we will.
Yeah. I mean, slightly cynically, do you think that people will take this situation as a kind of a check to say, like, actually, these are the things that we do need to change, or do you think that people will fall instantly or relatively quickly back into their old habits? Slightly loaded, that question.
That's funny. I was listening to I think you were Roger Martin. A really well-known economist, and his view was that we will very quickly fall back into our own habits. But I think that's where, as a leadership team, as part of one of your responsibilities is to drive change, to lead change. And so, actually, if we think there's value in some of the things we've learned, then we should promote that. We're fortunate we have a really engaged group of people in our team that I think won't need maybe as much kind of leading as most. But I think that responsibility sits squarely with kind of a leadership team to decide what is the new for us. How does it look? And how do we kind of make that happen? Because I think naturally we're all guilty of kind of falling back into what's comfortable and what's normal, into just an easy thing to be done. So, that's just a way of life, isn't it? But I think that responsibility definitely sits kind of somewhere in the business, probably starting with the leadership team.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, could you now move into kind of more into the business space? What sort of, how's it panned out for us? I know I've got my perspective of it, but in terms of your perspective, like, so talk me through how the whole process has kind of panned out over the last kind of three-ish weeks. Is it 3 weeks? Is it only 3 weeks?
Have you not been reading my emails? Seriously?
I have, but I feel like it would be a little bit boring me reading your emails.
So kind of week one. Well, actually, no. If we go back to say 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, when people were talking about kind of the rise of kind of coronavirus, how it could start to impact kind of life as we know it, and there was a talk about enforced working from home, but no one really saw that as being necessarily a likely outcome, or no one was sure really how serious it actually was. We as a team sat down as a senior team sat down and said, actually, we need to make sure that we can work remotely from home. We've done it before as an entire business, but we need to make sure we have kind of there's no business interruption, there's no impact on our clients, our ability to operate over a long period of time, because we've only ever done it over a couple of days. So we quite quickly set up a 2-week trial from working from home, which was really proactive and I think a really good call at the time, because our clients, our contacts, our partners, I felt that it was a really good thing to be doing. So we got straight very quickly. We're in a situation where, as it was the last time we trialed it, we're pretty confident working from home, but started to work out any kinks that had kind of, bearing in mind it's the whole company working from home, not just 1 or 2 people of the day. I think that was a really good move. Then things started to escalate pretty quickly in terms of the kind of coronavirus pandemic. And then probably like the week one where it started to feel a bit crazy, we, lost lost is the wrong word, had a significant percentage of clients struggling for cash, struggling to kind of make it work because they had no income or they were seriously threatened by what's happening. And the result kind of had to pause or change the way we're working.
What's the sort of magnitude, just like in terms of percentages? What are we talking here?
So that first week was about 20% of our monthly retained revenue, so it's significant in a week. It certainly got my attention, as it did the rest of the business. It happened, very quickly. They were really tough conversations to have with clients as well, not because clients were upset or there was anything wrong with what we're doing, but they were in situations that were pretty dire. And that for our account teams, for the client services department, for Masood and our client services director, Justine, our head of client services, who were really in the thick of it, were having some really emotional conversations with a number of business owners who were suddenly hit super, super hard. And I think, again, our view there was, well, what can we do to help? How can we make this work, on a financial level for those people impacted? How can we try and support them through? So that was kind of like week one. Off the back of that, we very quickly put together a forecast. We all worked on it together. That was, well, what if this continues? How does it look? And it was a fairly complex forecast that fundamentally kind of showed, well, what could the next 12 months, not 12 months, maybe next 8 to 9 months, take us up to the end of the year? What would that look like? This continues, but it kind of stabilizes as we kind of get over the shock of what's going on. But also, there's also a number of kind of recovery variables in there as well. So what starts to kick back in, and we did a whole load of forecasting that then gave us a really solid, I feel, benchmark to make decisions on. And had we not done that, I think it would have been much harder to make the decisions we then came on to about furloughing and so on. And I think that was an process.
Yeah. So talk me through the kind of the furloughing. We've had to furlough quite a few people. How did that process kind of go for you? You're obviously heavily involved in a lot of conversations with the team around it. What was that like?
It was challenging but good. So I think a lot of businesses have, or some businesses I've kind of come across have kind of referred to furloughing as, we would have made you redundant, but fortunately the government have kind of brought in a scheme, so we're going to not make you redundant, and you're kind of being furloughed. I think that sends a kind of people have to do what they need to do in the situations they're in, and I get that totally. But we haven't looked at it that way in terms of actually the furloughing scheme. The employee retention scheme is all about keeping teams whole, keeping people employed through an unprecedented time. So actually, the concept of furloughing for us has been very much, right, who can we kind of afford to have not kind of day-to-day delivering in the business for the next month or two, but also they need to be the people that we can bring back in really quickly, and we'll be able to get up to speed despite having a month, 2 months off, out of work. When we pick up, because it will happen. So actually, we've looked at it really differently, and that was really key to the messaging, I think, across the business. And I think everybody understands that. We've just, it's about keeping teams whole in a time of unprecedented change, and that's really important to kind of consider. And so that's been a big part of the consideration. It's actually, furloughing is all about everybody playing their role, and for a period of time, whether it be a few weeks, whether it be a couple of months, this is kind of someone's role to play. But the key part, particularly for what we call the furlough squad now, our team of furloughed individuals, will be when they come back in, it's getting them up to speed, getting them back in, and that's the planning we're focusing on now. What happens? How do we bring those people back when the time is right? What are the signals to say the time is right? And how do we get them up to speed? And I think furloughing, that concept has been the scheme. It's been a great scheme, and I feel like it would be easy to kind of perhaps not see it for what it is, but it is about short-term flexibility. Without a doubt, a view to kind of how can we kind of respond, retain our team, react when the time's right to get everybody back in and delivering kind of at 100%. So, awesome. And that's the sort of conversation we had with everybody. So whilst it could have been, and in some cases it is, of course, it has been an emotive conversation, because it's a big change to kind of, and it's a big commitment to ask people, I think, to kind of accept to be kind of furloughed when you're doing what you do every day because you love it. And obviously there are salary implications to kind of the furlough as well. But our team have been amazing without and I think that result will be stronger when we're on the other side of this.
Nice. Just to jump in there as well, I noticed Lauren has joined the chat as well. So Lauren, thank you very much for your help with it. I know that you hadn't officially started, and you've been awesome as helping Ant plan a lot of that and work through the kind of the forecasting numbers. So thank you for that. You don't have to speak at this point, but yeah, thank you very much for that. Dan, can I bring you in, mate? Are you in the garden now? Have you got yourself a beer?
I have, yes. Thank you very much.
Good man, good man. Dan, can you just obviously listening to Ant there? How are things kind of in comparison for you? Obviously, so you KIMS Hospital. What's the sort of challenges that you guys have been facing? Probably quite different, I suspect.
Yeah, I mean, we're still we're still operating as a hospital, but we are supporting the NHS now. So we've kind of pretty much stopped all private. We're there for the private sector. And we've pretty much stopped all private work, bar sort of what we class as urgents, so your cancers, cardiacs, and some vascular work. So yeah, our staff, particularly the clinical staff, under a huge change and challenge and pressure to support the NHS. So we're taking patients from different trusts. We're not taking COVID patients. They're trying to maintain us as a green site, so a safe site to send their cancer, their cardiacs. So we're taking NHS wards across. But yeah, I mean, it's unrecognisable. There's probably a third of the non-clinical, the support staff, that are now working from home,
right?
If not more. And
is that kind of achieved? I mean, because I guess the challenge is with the NHS is it's less, it's potential. I mean, and this is my assumption, and it might be completely wrong, but almost less able to do sort of the digital aspect, the remote kind of working. So in a sense, I had a slightly unfortunate visit to the hospital last night. Our daughter cut her head, which required a bit of work on, which was unfortunate. A bit of gluing, a few tears, and so that was a kind of a relatively scary personal incident. But I mean, the hospital was near empty when we went there. It was, I guess, it was one of the green sites, and I just wonder if I wonder how it's working in terms of can your organisation easily move to remote working, and is that the same for the NHS in terms of a lot of their work, or are they kind of bound to the offices?
I can't speak for the NHS. I don't know with the NHS. I know certainly with one of the teams that I manage, last year we put into place what we called our snow cover. We were talking just before this started about the Snowmageddon a couple of years ago. So we put in place some tools to enable the inquiries team to be able to work from home. So it wasn't too drastic a change for us. We were kind of 90% prepared for it anyway. But I will say we've adopted Microsoft Teams around the hospital, and I usually get I'm the person that gets frustrated with technology. If it doesn't work perfectly instantly, then it's not good enough. But so far, touch wood, Microsoft Teams has been brilliant. Every single day I have a daily, the leadership team, we have a daily call at 9 o'clock about the COVID situation. And then we're to disseminate it to our teams. And I've got team members scattered all around Kent. Some are in the hospital, some aren't. And every day I can just go straight into Microsoft Teams. I can update them all, and it's seamless. It's been touch wood so far. It's been perfect for us. So
we'll put your affiliate link down in the comments, Dan, and you can earn a few quid from Microsoft on the referral.
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah.
So in terms of kind of what happens next for you guys, is it just now just settling into the kind of this new normal as it is?
Yeah, we're planning for the daylight at the end of the tunnel as well. So, we're planning on and hoping that this isn't going to be a long-term, a long stay. People are sort of saying the world's going to come back to normal in this country the end of June. I'm really hoping that that's right. So yeah, we'll support in whatever ways needed for the NHS. We're not making any. It's not about commercial decisions at the moment. We're being used as part of the national effort. A number of our theatre team have actually volunteered to go frontline back into the trust. And yeah, my hat's off to my colleagues that have done that. It's just breathtaking bravery that they've done.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a great thing to hear. But that and moving back to you a second, I know that you listened into a talk yesterday because I was listening to with sorry, I've now completely forgot his name, Roger Martin Fagg, the economist, and who's kind of he's well regarded in terms of his ability to understand the current landscape economically and then plan for what kind of happens next. I just wondered, what your takeaways were from the bits that you heard. What anything that you can share around, optimism potentially or insights that you got from him.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was good. It was good talk actually. Overall, it was positive. Like that was probably the biggest thing that struck, the biggest chord that was struck with me was that it was he was speaking really positively about what's to come, and that it could be a much faster recovery. So he was talking kind of mid-May, things starting to kind of resume. Potentially some of the restrictions on us being kind of softened, kind of mid-May,
yeah,
and that there will be an economic bounce back. He talked about possible inflation in about 12 months' time, significant rise in inflation, but that could also, he also believes the government will be working hard to kind of mitigate the negative impacts of that. But he was talking about, he was really positive actually, and he's someone who listened to speak a number of times. I have to say, he's been pretty spot on in and up to like the various versions of Brexit we've kind of had. I still don't know what that is, but
we've got that to come. We've got to get this.
I can't remember what is that again. Yeah, but he was overwhelmingly kind of positive about the bounce back. He was not so positive about international travel. And he was talking a lot more about localization, about businesses and countries wanting to kind of insource, which is not, for some businesses that would be a terrible thing. For others, that will be a great thing. Winners and losers. But local travel, staycationing could really see kind of some positive bounce and relatively quickly, and that's kind of exciting. He talked about the fact that we're all here, changing the way we live, but also kind of probably not spending the money we would normally spend.
Just on that, you're saying there's money that's coming in. So even if you're on a furlough at this point, or you've had to take a drop in salary, the point I thought was interesting is obviously there's less to spend it on. There's a lot of people who would be out, doing stuff, spending money on socializing, which obviously you can't do at the moment. So that technically there's that kind of pool of money that sits there ready to kind of to come back. And you mentioned kind of coming back quite quickly. What can businesses do really to actually take advantage of that? Is there anything that you can? Because it's really tricky. Because obviously, a lot of businesses that you mentioned before that we had or are now kind of pausing, but then suddenly they could come back very, very quickly. And how do businesses plan for that?
I think
I know this happened on Thursday, and I know today's Friday, but I'm assuming that you've done something on this.
I think, no, absolutely, I have. Yeah, it's what I was doing most of the night, actually. No, I think firstly, government are working really, really hard to support businesses in this period, and so taking advantage of every single scheme, the business interruption loans, if it's applicable, obviously the kind of the employee retention scheme, because ultimately that's what they're designed for. We're in a state where kind of everything's slowly getting to a point where everything's kind of on pause. The government are going to help fund that to some degree, and so actually I would recommend to anybody kind of out there, take advantage of every option that's out there. Take advantage of it, use it, because it will put you in a much stronger position to bounce back when that happens. The second thing is forecasting, is planning, is kind of saying, well, if it ends middle of May, what does that look like, and who do we need back in our team, for example? They're the sort of things that I'm thinking about at the moment, and we'll be talking about, of course. But what does that kind of recovery look like? So it's not a surprise when it gets there. Again, it be wrong, but planning is kind of that sort of financial planning, people planning. It's so kind of critical at this time. I think that's also really key. So step one, take advantage of every opportunity for support. Step two, get the planning. You've probably done all the negative planning. Oh, this is how bad it's going to look. The next step is to start thinking about the positive planning. And then I guess, and this is a bit of an unknown for everybody, it's trying to kind of anticipate how people are going to feel when we start bounce back. So for the hospitality sector, for example, are people going to want to be, the night that lockdown ends, are people going to want to be crammed in a pub face to face with lots of people or not. I don't know. Maybe some will, some won't. I'm sure. But trying to think about, well, what does the lessons we've learned over this kind of these couple of weeks, months, tell us about how we might act kind of post kind of lockdown and so on, and does that mean your model needs to change slightly or not? And I think thinking about what the new kind of future is for every business and every business owner is really, really key. I think there's kind of three.
So not just the sort of not the recovery, but the relevance long term.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, relevance. Is your offering still relevant? And if it's not, how does it need to change? Yeah,
cool.
Totally.
Excellent. Well, I think it's now time, because this is technically a holiday, so we should probably not sort of talk too much business, which obviously we have done, and we inevitably do every hour of every single day. And maybe that's probably the one thing that we can maybe try to take away from this, is to have a few days of break as well at some point, and that might be something more healthy to kind of take forward. So to end this show on a kind of slightly fun note, we're going to do a quick quiz. And I know you're a bit of a sci-fi fan. Dan, by chance, are you a sci-fi fan? Please say yes.
Star Wars, yes.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else though? Do you know theme tunes? You've got a cat.
Some, yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
There's a cat that's just stacked it behind you. That's epic.
It wasn't a fat one. You'll break my paving slabs.
What I'm loving about this show is that I think 2 shows ago, my daughter decided to burst in, shout boo, wearing sunglasses and some gloves for some reason, which she calls glubs because she can't pronounce the properly. So that was part of the live show. So I love to see animals, particularly cats, featured on climbing over fences in the background. So the quiz now is all about sci-fi shows. Let me just check if this is working. So we're going to do something like this. Okay, can you both hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to press play. I'm going to pick a track, and it's the first person to shout out the name of the sci-fi series. Okay, and we'll start them easy. Then we're going to get them more obscure as we go. Here we go.
Star Wars.
Oh, Dan, you said that you're a Star Wars fan, and Ant's beating you through that one straight away.
You threw me. You said series. I was expecting a series, not a film.
It is a series. It's a film series. There's like 9 of them. Okay, it could be any form. Just to be clear, it could be anything. Okay. Right. Next up. Okay, here we go.
X-Files.
Oh, so quick. Good. 1-1, 1 apiece.
Well played.
Right, next one.
Star Trek.
Oh, that was close.
I think that was Dan. I'm going to give that to Dan. He was on my screen before you were, so I'm going to give that to.
We'll play Dan.
Dan. He's struggling with that one, isn't he? Right. Yeah, exactly. You say you don't like it, but there you go. Right, here we go. Film this one. Not what I was expecting. No, it's War of the Worlds. That was not what I was expecting. Okay, hold on. This one, hopefully. Again, like, they've got the names, but then it might be just a random song from the film or the series. Hang on, here we go.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes, he got it. Okay, that is 3-1. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more.
Not looking good.
So, and you need to really step this up.
Nice.
I thought this was made for you, mate. This is designed for you. Here we go. Next one. Okay, we're going to call that dead heat because that was supposedly Stargate.
Stargate?
Yeah, I know. That's not what I was expecting. Hold on. This one hopefully will be better. These aren't great, are they? I was hoping there'd be the theme. It says they're the theme song. Hang on. Right.
Oh, boy.
Hold on. Here we go. Oh, Danny jumping in.
Who was it? What was it?
Danny's jumping. It was E.T., the extraterrestrial. I can see you both going for that one. Okay, this one's just for fun. Dan is the official winner. Let me find something here. This is they're not quite what I thought they were going to be, if I'm honest. Oh gosh. Oh no! I was just starting to play a podcast. That is not correct. I think we'll call it there, lads, because I have to say I'm looking through my list of songs, and I don't know any of the other ones at all. And based on the fact that the ones that I did know were not the songs that I was expecting, I think we'll have to call it there. So Dan, you are today's winner. You will receive a 12-pack of toilet roll in 2022 when they come back into stock. So congratulations for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being an impromptu part of the show, Dan. And
you're welcome.
Thank you very much for your insights into what we've been doing as a business and the challenges that we've been facing. Hopefully there are some useful takeaways for the people who will be watching. And thanks again for everybody who's tuned in for this one. We will be doing this show every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, every Friday at 4:30. It is the Business as Unusual show where we're covering topics related to the challenges that everybody is currently facing and how they can ultimately get through it. So hopefully we can get through it stronger together. Thank you very much for listening, and we shall see you next Wednesday. Take care.